For 7 days, I invite you to speak, not mumble, not whisper, but declare a sacred psalm. For 7 days, let this divine decree rise like incense from your lips to the heavens, and watch how your finances begin to shift, not because of the economy, not because of a job offer, but because you aligned yourself with divine supply. The world says you need hustle. Heaven says you need harmony. The world says you must strive. Spirit says you must speak. You see, when you speak a psalm, you are not simply reciting ancient poetry. No, you are opening the gates of abundance. You are realigning with the infinite. You are rewriting your soul's financial destiny. Why does it work? Because the psalm is not just words, it is vibration. It is frequency. It is law. And the law says, call those things that be not as though they were. So speak them. Speak the words of power until every cell in your body believes it, until every limiting belief collapses, until the chains of fear break and the floodgates open wide. You may say, but I've spoken words before, and nothing happened. And I say to you, did you speak them with power, with unwavering faith, with holy boldness? Did you speak like the mountain was already moved? Because faith is the substance, not the maybe, not the someday, not the I hope it works substance. And here's the miracle. The moment you decide to speak this psalm with unwavering, tenacious faith for 7 consecutive days, you unleash momentum, spiritual momentum. 1 day, you stir the waters. 2 days, you break the resistance. 3 days, the atmosphere shifts. By the 7th day you have invited the divine current of wealth into your very home. I have seen debts vanish, businesses blossom, bank accounts overflow, not because of logic, but because of law. Speak this psalm for 7 days, and you will do more than change your money. You will change your mind. You will not chase wealth. Wealth will chase you. You will not fear the bills. The bills will bow to the blessing, because the psalm is a sword, a song, a decree, a portal. Speak it with love. Speak it with command. Speak it as if heaven is listening, because it is. You were never meant for poverty. You were never meant for fear. You were born for dominion, provision, and peace. So go now, lift up your voice, open your heart, and declare the psalm like your breakthrough depends on it. 7 days, 1 psalm, infinite return. Amen and amen. Money is often misunderstood. Many believe it to be a purely material construct: numbers in a bank, paper in a wallet, coins in a jar. But this is a surface illusion. Beneath the appearance lies the spiritual truth. Money is divine substance, governed not by chance or chaos, but by spiritual law, the very force that governs the rising of the sun, the flow of the tides, and the harmony of the stars also governs your ability to attract or repel wealth. There is no separation between your spiritual life and your financial life, only alignment or misalignment with divine law. When a person is in harmony with spiritual truth, money flows to them effortlessly. Why? Because they are no longer chasing money, they are radiating supply. They understand that abundance is not outside of them, but within them. It is their divine birthright. They no longer beg the universe for money, they command it through faith, righteousness, and the spoken word. The universe is not random, it is lawful. It listens, it responds, it reflects. The spiritual laws that govern finances are as real as gravity: the law of prosperity, the law of circulation, the law of compensation. These are invisible principles, but they are unwavering. When you speak a psalm with faith, especially one rooted in divine supply, you are tuning your frequency to match these laws. You are no longer broadcasting scarcity, you are sending out a signal of sufficiency. You declare, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want," and all of heaven moves to honor that vibration. People often struggle financially not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they are out of sync with spiritual law. They worry, they fear, they complain, unaware that such vibrations repel prosperity. Lack is not just a condition, it is a consciousness, and money will not flow into a consciousness that denies its own abundance. The law is always working either for you or against you, depending on your alignment. When you understand that your finances are governed by spiritual laws, you stop relying solely on effort and start engaging spiritual authority. You recognize that when you tithe, give generously, speak affirmatively, and hold visions of wealth with gratitude and certainty, you are activating invisible forces that work for your good. You are not a victim of economy, inflation, or debt. You are a spiritual being, and money is your servant, not your master. Speak the psalm not as poetry, but as law. Let each word resonate as a decree backed by divine authority. In doing so, You awaken the principle that says, "Seek first the kingdom, and all these things shall be added." And what is the kingdom? It is the consciousness of divine order, divine wealth, and divine sufficiency. Faith activates the shift, not the circumstance. 500 words in the realm of spirit. It is never the condition that changes. First, it is the consciousness. Faith precedes form. Belief precedes breakthrough. You do not wait for the evidence to appear before you act. You act in faith, and the evidence rushes in to meet your expectation. This is the divine law. The moment you begin to believe the shift has occurred, it begins, not in the world of form, but in the world of essence, the only world that truly creates. People wait for signs. They wait for a deposit, a check, a miracle before they believe their financial situation is improving. But this is backwards living. This is walking by sight and not by faith. True demonstration happens when you claim the shift before it shows up, when you speak the word before the bank balance reflects it, when you praise before the harvest is visible. This is the way of divine creation. When you speak a psalm for 7 days, you are not performing a ritual, you are affirming a reality. You are creating a new pattern in your subconscious mind, which is the womb of creation. You are speaking directly to the substance of the universe and saying, "Move on my behalf." And the moment you speak with conviction, the substance begins to form, even if you cannot yet see it. The mistake so many make is waiting for things to get better, waiting for the job, the raise, the opportunity. But waiting is passive. Faith is active. Faith moves first. Faith leaps. Faith says, "It is done," and walks as if the thing has already appeared. Faith shifts your vibration, and your vibration shifts your reality. This is why the psalm must be spoken with authority, with intention, not as a hope, but as a decree. You are not begging for change. You are declaring divine order. You are not asking to be rescued. You are recognizing that you have already been delivered from lack and limitation. The shift is not coming. It is already here. And your faith unlocks the door. Each time you speak the psalm, you are chiseling away the old belief in limitation. Each day, you are replacing fear with truth. And on the 7th day, your spirit begins to walk differently. Your mind thinks in abundance. Your emotions settle into trust. That's when circumstances must obey. That's when money flows. That's when opportunities knock, doors open, and the impossible becomes inevitable. Faith does not consult the facts. It consults the truth. And the truth is, you are one with the source of all wealth. You are heir to a divine inheritance. And when you speak the word in faith, you activate a shift that the world cannot deny. Faith moves mountains, but it also moves money. And when your heart aligns with the word becomes flesh. Speak it, believe it, walk in it. The shift is not a matter of time, it's a matter of trust. There is a divine rhythm to creation, a sacred pattern to manifestation. Just as the world was formed in 6 days and rested on the 7th, there is spiritual power in the number 7. When you commit to declaring a psalm for 7 consecutive days, you are not merely repeating words, you are building spiritual momentum. Each day carries its own energy. Each repetition deepens the groove in your subconscious. Each spoken word aligns you more perfectly with divine law. What begins as intention becomes activation, and what starts in faith ends in demonstration. Spiritual truth must be impressed upon the subconscious mind before it can be expressed in the outer world. This takes persistence. It takes spiritual discipline. It takes speaking the word even when nothing seems to be happening, because the truth is, something is happening. The unseen world is shifting. Old patterns are breaking. Energetic blockages are dissolving. But like a seed planted in the soil, the first signs of life happen underground, invisible to the eye. You do not dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You water it. You nourish it. You trust the process. The 7-day practice of speaking a psalm is the same. Each day is like water to the seed of abundance. On the first day, you stir the spiritual soil. Doubt may arise, resistance may speak, but you press on. On the 2nd day, your voice begins to carry new authority. On the 3rd day, the old financial strongholds begin to weaken. On the 4th day, your consciousness shifts subtly, scarcity thoughts begin to fade. By the 5th day, your emotions begin to agree with the truth of your words. On the 6th day, you start to see small confirmations that the law is working. And on the 7th day, something powerful occurs. Your vibration matches the word. You no longer just speak the psalm, you embody it. This is momentum. This is what transforms a declaration into a decree. You are no longer hoping, it is now law in your world. The repetition is not for the psalm's sake, it is for yours. Each time you speak it, you reaffirm your covenant with divine supply. You silence the voice of fear and awaken the voice of faith. You train your inner world to accept only abundance, only sufficiency, only the truth that you are already provided for. 7 days may sound simple, but simplicity is where power often hides. Do not underestimate the force of focused spiritual practice. The psalm you speak is not ordinary, it is encoded with divine frequency. It reshapes your beliefs, your energy, and your expectations. The world will begin to respond to your new vibration. Finances shift, doors open. Unexpected blessings come not because of luck, but because of law. The word never returns void. It performs what it is sent to do. And after 7 days of faithful speaking, you will not be the same because the word has taken root. And prosperity must now bloom. Faith is the creative force that calls unseen things into visibility. It is the engine that turns thought into form, the inner conviction that reshapes outer reality. When it comes to finances, most people wait for the evidence to appear before they believe anything has changed. But spiritual law does not operate on external proof, it moves by inner knowing. The shift in your finances does not begin with a transaction or a deposit, it begins with belief. The moment you believe your supply is already on the way, you begin to pull it into form. Faith does not follow the facts. It transforms them. To speak a psalm with power for 7 days is to practice faith in motion. It is to say, I trust the invisible more than I fear the visible. You are not waiting for your situation to change. You are speaking as though it already has. And that faith, when felt deeply and spoken boldly, activates the law of attraction, the law of increase, and the law of divine compensation all at once. You no longer beg for blessings. You become a magnet for them. You do not chase wealth, you align with it. And through that alignment, reality bends to match your vibration. Most people hesitate to believe until they see results. But this is not faith, it is reaction. Faith sees the outcome before the eyes do. It is the spiritual blueprint that precedes every material structure. When you speak the psalm for 7 days, you are not just affirming ancient words, you are activating a spiritual contract. Your faith declares, this word is my truth. And the universe responds by rearranging itself around your conviction. Circumstances begin to shift, not because they suddenly decided to favor you, but because your energy commanded them to. This is why it's not enough to speak empty words. The power is not in the words, alone it's in the belief behind them. Faith charges your words with divine electricity. Without it, your declarations are hollow, but with it, they become spiritual loaders, sent into the field of infinite supply. You must speak the psalm as if it is already done, as if the money is already on its way, as if every need is already met. That is when the atmosphere begins to move. That is when delays dissolve, resources appear, and divine right action is set in motion. Faith does not require signs, it produces them. It does not wait for doors to open, it walks forward and finds them unlocked. When your finances seem stuck, it is rarely a money problem. It is a belief problem. Shift the belief, and the money follows. Speak the psalm not to convince God, but to align yourself with the truth that God has already given. And once your heart believes that truth fully, you will see with your eyes what your spirit knew all along. Lack was never real, and abundance has always been yours. Miracles are not random acts of chance or luck, they are the natural outflow of a heart that is perfectly aligned with divine truth. When you speak a psalm with sincerity and faith, you are not only uttering words, you are tuning your inner being to the frequency of miracles. The heart is the center of your spiritual life, and when it aligns fully with the word, it becomes a powerful magnet that draws blessings and divine provision from the unseen realm into your daily experience. This alignment is the secret to unlocking supernatural abundance that defies explanation and exceeds expectation. The heart, when centered on divine promises, holds the key to transformation. It is not merely the intellect repeating phrases, but the soul embracing truth with passion and conviction. This deep inner agreement activates spiritual laws that govern abundance. The psalm you declare daily is like a seed planted in fertile soil. When watered by your faith and nourished by your belief, it sprouts into visible results that can seem miraculous. What appears as miracles are simply the natural consequences of your heart resonating perfectly with the power of the word. Many people experience miracles only sporadically because their hearts are divided, part faith, part doubt. But when you choose to speak the psalm consistently for 7 days, you create a sustained spiritual environment in which the heart and word become one. This oneness shifts your entire energetic field. Suddenly, your thoughts, emotions, and actions are all aligned toward divine abundance. Miracles cease to be occasional surprises and instead become your new normal. As your heart aligns with the word, you begin to see evidence of miracles in many forms: unexpected financial breakthroughs, opportunities appearing at just the right moment, debts suddenly paid off, or bills canceled without explanation. These are not coincidences, they are manifestations of a spiritual law activated by your unwavering faith. The word spoken daily sets a rhythm that moves the universe to respond. The more you embrace this alignment, the more you attract situations that confirm the truth you hold inside. When the heart and word are in harmony, you also experience an inner peace that transcends circumstance. This peace is a miracle in itself, a calm confidence that no matter what happens on the outside, your provision is guaranteed. This peace strengthens your faith and creates a positive feedback loop where miracles multiply. Your mind no longer dwells on lack or limitation but on endless possibility. This mental shift energizes your spirit and opens the doors for even greater blessings. The process of alignment requires perseverance and an open heart. It asks you to trust the unseen and believe beyond what your eyes can perceive. But the reward is immense. Your life becomes a testimony of divine favor and miraculous provision. Speaking the psalm daily is an invitation for the heart to synchronize with the infinite, to embrace its rightful place as a co-creator with the divine. As this alignment deepens, the miracles you experience are not just answers to prayers, they are evidence of a life fully connected to the abundant source.